If you really want something bad enough, it's not going to be easy. And you can see where you want to go. But there are so many things you're going to have to go through to get there. But truly, if you focus and know where you want to end up, you'll be there. It may not be at the exact time you want, which is now is kind of immediate for most people, but you'll eventually get there at your time when you're supposed to. So you make decisions. It's up to you. You know, you make choices in your life. You program your mind to either be happy or not. That's a choice that you make. It's not something that somebody else makes for you. It's not even your situation. No matter what the situation, you truly do make the choice to be happy in that situation or not. And we also have the ability to change a situation that we're not happy with. Yeah, I absolutely hated Tom Coughlin. And not long ago, I was at the Giants Monday night game to induct him into the Ring of Honor, which was like amazing for me because this is a guy, I went to my first meeting with him, and I had been in the NFL for 11, 12 years. My first meeting with the guy, and I felt as if he was dismissive and as if I hadn't accomplished anything, and pretty much listen to me and you can do something with your life, kid. I was thinking, okay, kind of done some things already. I felt disrespected and slighted, and I went home and I said, I'm playing 1 year with this guy because I have to now, I'm too late, but I'm not gonna play after this. I can't stay here with this guy. I won't do it. And he already had a bad reputation around the league as being a really tough coach. And he was. If your socks weren't pulled up high enough, you get a fine. If you had blue sleeves on instead of gray sleeves that day, you get a fine. If you're not 5 minutes early to a meeting, you get fined. I'm like, dude, if the meeting's at 7:55, just tell me that. Don't tell me 8 and I get there at 7:57 and I'm late. Like, it was just, we were butting heads, and not just with me, but with all the players. But being that I was a senior leader, they would come to me and I would talk to him. Hey, coach. And he would just go, I hear you, I hear you, I hear you. And it came to a head after he fined me for being 3 minutes early to a meeting. We had a heated discussion to the point where he was like, you know what? It is what it is. And I said, Coach, we just had this discussion. Well, you shouldn't cut it so close. I said, Coach, I'm not cutting it close. He goes, well, next time, you're lucky, I could have fined you more. And when he said that, that's when the football player side went. And I said, okay, that's fine. You'll fine me. Ain't about the money anyway. It's about the principle. But you know what? You want to find me? I'll come in here when I want to then. If I'm going to be late, you're going to find me. I might as well show up when I want. So I'll go do some errands, then I'll come in when I want to. And he looked at me like, and I was surprised because that was kind of like, you know, the whole different side that's usually on the field. And he said, you can't talk to me like that. And I said, yes, I can. He said, no, you can't. I said, yes, I can. And you know why? Because if you don't respect me, I can't respect you. And I said, I come to you every day with all the problems of the players and what the guys are feeling, and you always say to me, I hear you, I hear you. And I said, when you say that, you're just dismissing me. You think I don't realize that? You're dismissing me, but you're losing this team. Do you hear that? And I walked away from it. And ever since that day, our relationship has been like that. It's as if we were two dogs circling around, see who's gonna jump on each other. And we finally got into a scrum, but we came out of it with an understanding that we both wanted the same thing. And that was to win. Once we really looked at it deeply, we both wanted to win. And I was so happy to see him change, to the point where it made me change and realize that if you both had the same objectives, you just have to find a way to make it work to get there. He loosened up his stance with the players. We loosened up our stance with his rules as far as we were more attentive to them, and guys felt like we weren't fighting against the rules. We were fighting the opponent on the field, where before we were fighting his rules instead of focusing on who we were playing that week. And he became a coach who would come in and tell jokes and give you a hug and tell you he loved you. And before, he was not that guy. You know, the quarterbacks, they go and they pick up the game plan, and Kurt Warner, our quarterback at the time, went in to pick up his game plan with his kids. He goes into the quarterback coach's office, and when he comes out, Coach Coughlin is on the floor with his kids outside the office playing. And it's like, why don't we as players see that compassion, that side of you? Because it's definitely there. We see you with your grandkids sometimes, but it was amazing to see him do it. And he learned how to transfer that over to us as adults, and we in turn learned how to, give him everything, because as a coach, the toughest thing and the thing I loved about playing, and the one thing I love about working with a lot of people, is the leadership aspect. It is the opportunity to get so many people to believe in one thing that makes everybody better, so that everybody wins. And in order to do that, you have to make everybody have value and feel valuable. I don't care if it's somebody who's sweeping the floor or the president of the company. Everybody needs to be treated like a human being with value, and if they are, they will do anything for you. And once he got that down, guys would do anything for him. And I was one of those guys that once I was into that matrix, anything he needed, it would get done. And all the way down to just my belief in us winning a Super Bowl and watching all that happen, and just the way that we did it. And now if I had to go back and play, seriously, I wouldn't play for any other coach. If he wanted me to play for him, I would play for him only. It was always bigger than me, and I had success on the football field, singular success. Right. I've been Defensive Player of the Year a few times, and it's like, I can't celebrate this, or a team had losing records. Like, I never found much joy in something that was a singular success. Right. The best time, does anyone ever ask me, what is the best thing from your career? It's like, it's a Super Bowl. It's everybody being able to celebrate the accomplishment of us as a team, and not me as an individual. And there is definitely a switch you have to have. And to me, I do love people, and it's natural for me to be nice to people. I don't know any other way. I don't know why you wouldn't be. But it's worked for me, because in anything I do, I don't have to be fake. I don't have to be something I'm not. Right. So I don't have to be nice to you here and then leave and you see me later on, because I've been around a lot of people like that. And it's as if they're a different person. Like, I just saw you 10 minutes ago. Who's this guy? Right. And I never wanted to be that. I always wanted to be myself the entire time, which works great for me. I love psychology of things. That's why I think I love a team. I love getting people on the same page. And the psychology from football to me, in the media with football, the simple things. You get the game program every week. And it's the same picture throughout the whole year of the guys. But I had a ritual. I would look at the program. I would look at everybody on my team, same guys, and then I would look at the other team's guys. Mm-hmm. And when you're a young player, you get intimidated by faces. And some guy sitting there looking like this. And you're like, oh man, that guy's a killer. Oh, I'm scared. But as I got older, I said, psychologically, if somebody looks like that, then then okay. But how much more afraid would you be if somebody you know is a killer and they're just smiling? So in my program picture, I'd be like this. It looked like a glamorous shot. It looked like I went to the mall. It was like, this is the guy? He must be crazy to be smiling in these photos like this. And so I would just do little silly things like that. With the media, I didn't talk every day. So then I said, I talk one day a week. I talk Thursdays. And I did it because if you talk all the time, it's like going to the same restaurant. It's not special. And especially in the media of New York, when there are so many different people and so many outlets, and everybody there's so much content, you need yours to stand out. So if you want to talk to me and you only get me one day a week, I guarantee when I talk to you, you're going to cherish that and you're going to use that. And I would mix it up on the media as well as they would give me a hard time. I give them a hard time. I'll tell one question today. I'm not in a bad mood, but I just act like, give me one question. They ask me one, answer, they ask me a second, I say, you hear what I said? I said one. I'm sorry, I gotta go. Right. Then other days I sit there and I would chat. How your wife doing? Everything's good. And I would just mix them up, keep them off balance a little bit. And I just enjoyed the psychological battle of football. I enjoyed the psychological battle of the media. And in a lot of ways now, it's not quite the same, but I still like that aspect of psychologically getting everybody on the same page to be successful.
What you did in the Super Bowl was really, really crazy, and I want to hear what was the psychological principle at work. So the team is losing, but you gather everybody on the sideline and you say, you're losing at the moment, I think it was 10-14.
Yeah.
To the undefeated champions coming into this game. and you say, with like very little time left, guys, we're one drive away. We're gonna win 17-14. That's gonna be the final score. If you believe it, it's gonna happen.
Gene Strahan, my dad.
That's crazy.
Well, it was weird.
Because by the way, that was the end score.
That was the end score against an undefeated team, 18-0 at that point, and had beaten us early in the season. And my dad that week in Phoenix, he said, you know what, you guys have already won the game. And I was like, I think the old man's losing it. What's he talking about? You guys have already won the game. Now you just have to go through the formalities, but trust me, you've already won the game. And I'm thinking, have you seen the Patriots? Have you seen their record? Have you seen how good they are? It's Tom Brady and Randy Moss, Junior Seau, like all these phenomenal Hall of Fame players over there. And we got to the point in that game where there were just several things that come to mind. Bill Belichick is a brilliant coach, probably the best coach ever to coach professional football. And we had a 4th down. They had to punt. He rushes the punt team out there. They run a punt. We didn't get all our guys off the field in time. So it gives them a 1st down in our territory and field goal position and everything else. And Tom Coughlin's losing it. You know, he's beat red. He's screaming on the sideline. And I just had such a peace during that game. So he tells this story all the time. And he said, you reached over and you grabbed me by my shoulders before you ran out on the field. And you smiled and said, Coach, don't worry, we got it. And we go out, I actually got a sack. So the sack I got on that drive, moved them out of field goal position. They didn't score any points. And that was just like the peacefulness of the game. So when we came to that point in the 4th quarter where they scored, and they went up 14-10, it was like, you know what? If Dad said we're gonna win, damn it, we're gonna win. Now, I'm not on offense, I can't do anything about it, but I'm gonna go over here and talk to the guys who can. And we're in this together. Our journey to get there has been too great to end like this. I mean, we're here for a reason. There's something special about us being here because we were not supposed to be here. And I went on and said 17-14, fellas, will be the final score. Believe it and it will happen. 1 touchdown we'll be world champions. Believe it and it will happen. And we won 17-14 and I retired after that. You know, I think we doubt ourselves more than anybody else ever doubts us. So, and I fight that too. I fight that every day, especially, you know, with these new jobs and businesses that I've never thought that I would be in or never knew I could be in or was supposed to or could be any good at. And I think the routines that I have, my routines are very simple. I find out what the job is and I bust my ass to get it done. And it's not, half the stuff is not that complicated. For GMA, I understand that I need to read. I need to read a lot. I need to know what I'm talking about before I open my mouth. And it's something great about that because it's challenged me in a way that I haven't been challenged. At Live, I didn't have to do that. Live, I could take 2 minutes to read the questions that I'm gonna ask the guest, and then the rest of it was personality driven. So I could get away with just, you know, being there and just being, you know, I guess, joyful and entertaining. Where GMA requires some of that, but it requires for you to have some knowledge on different things. And that's what I love about it. It takes me back, to be honest with you, to football. And it relates to football to me because not growing up playing, I was still learning my 15th and final season. I never got bored with the game. And that's how I feel about GMA. I don't think I'll ever get bored because every day is so different. And every day is a challenge. And so for me, it's about just studying and knowing what my job is and knowing what my job description is and knowing what I can bring to the equation. And the toughest thing, you know, going to GMA for me was figuring that out because you have George, you have Robin, you have Amy, you have Lara. And you have people who have been established on a show that has been established for a long time, and how does my personality fit in? So it's been like, you know, running into a wall here and there until I can find, okay, I fit into that slot. Now let me find the next one. And it's a work in progress. I work every day. You know, the wheels are spinning in my head as I'm sitting there with the camera on my face and I'm talking about how to be myself within a situation that you usually don't have a chance to inject personality into. But that's what they want. And but it's been a challenge, but it's been fun. It's been exciting. And I wake up every day and I love being there, and I love making the people around me happy that I'm there. That's important to me too. And I'm a routine person. If I take my wallet out of my pants at night, I know where I put it.
Yeah.
That way I know it's there. Like I know, oh, where's my wallet? Where are my keys? I'm not that guy. But I'm also a routine person in terms of when I go to work, like, good morning. Very simple words, not hard. I'm joyful and happy to be there. I'm gonna be the same. I'm gonna, good morning. I talk to everybody, and certain people I know there's a connection when you gotta, good morning, shake somebody's hand, you give them, or you walk by and you give them a tap on the shoulder. Like those things are important, because when I was a kid, I was washing dishes, I was cutting grass, I was a mover, and you were unseen. You were very unseen and unappreciated, and in some ways talked to as if you weren't, not only say we weren't human, but you just were below, at a level below. And that has always bothered me. And to this day, it bothers me to think about that. Because I remember when that was happening, thinking to myself, you think this is where I'm gonna be. Right. This is just what I gotta do now to get where I'm going. And I didn't necessarily know where I was going, but I knew it was not gonna be there. And so it's very important that when I walk in, there's one particular security guard who, he just, every time you walk in, and now I said, good morning, how you doing? Hey, bud, have a good day, everything else. And now when I walk in, hey, Michael, how you doing? Like it totally changed, and I see he's happy when I walk around that corner, and just because he feels valuable, man. And that's so important to me, because you get so much more out of yourself and so much more out of people, because you're in an environment you created. Right. You created happiness because you want to be happy and you want to be around happy people. And sometimes you gotta bang your head against the wall to make it happen, but you have to be consistent with it, and you have to be persistent with it. And if you are, then people come around to that. And then people can trust you because they know what they're gonna get. One of the worst things is to be unpredictable in terms of your emotion or the way that you approach people, because that makes people, I don't know what I'm gonna get today. Never want to be that guy. I want to be the guy that you know what you're gonna get, unless you were a reporter when I was a player. And but you know what you're gonna get, and you know what you're gonna get is gonna be genuine. Right. It's gonna be honest. It's gonna be real. It's gonna be sincere, and you're gonna get everything I have to make this work. And in some ways, I'm a perfectionist at work. If I mess up one word or not think of something, I don't watch myself on TV for that reason. Half the time, it bothers me, because oh, that was great. And I'll go, damn, I missed that.
Yeah.
I see it.
Once you realize that it's all a construct, right? That you can shape it, then you realize that you're awake in the matrix. And that was the first thing that you and I connected over when we first met. And I don't even remember why I brought it up. I guess because I'm so obsessed with the Matrix. I bring it up to everybody, but I'm literally wearing this shirt in your honor. The Matrix was the documentary.
Because that was my movie, man.
You said it impacted your football career.
Oh my God, did it ever. It was weird. That movie, everybody watched it, they talk about how great it was. And I'm one of these guys, you tell me how great everything is, it can't be that good. And I wait. So I didn't see it until it was on like one of these cable channels. And I'm watching it, and that point where he gets shot, and you think he's dead, and then she believes in him and she kisses him, and he comes back, and then Mr. Smith turns around and they shoot at him again. He goes, no, stop, whatever, and he takes the bullet and then and Lawrence Fishburne goes, he is the one. He believed in himself. He didn't limit himself. He limited himself up until that point. And I used to think, oh, I get a sack. Oh, I got a sack. Okay. Oh, that's good. I don't know if I can get another sack. Oh, man. Oh, I get 2. Oh, I don't know if I can get 3. And I started, why can't I get, why say 1 is enough? Why am I limiting myself in anything I do? And as a football player, it changed me. I set the sack record that year. I didn't have a sack the first 3 games of that season. So to get all those sacks, it was in 13 games.
It's incredible.
Which I look back and go, holy smoke, but it was, I don't know, I just would go, and I didn't say, okay, Michael, that's good enough. It was like, okay, Michael, you got 1, go get 2, go get another, and go get another one. And that movie taught, just truly, that moment, it was like, I see it now and I smile because it just makes me realize we limit ourselves, and why.
Yes.
You hold yourself back when there's no reason to hold yourself back, because there is no reason, as a friend of mine told me, Mike, he said, Michael, there's no reason that a black man with a gap tooth in his mouth who can't say the letter S without spitting on people should be on TV talking for a living. And he's 100% right. So I have proven that the Matrix works. Anything is possible. Yeah, I don't know. When football was over, I kind of, I know what I did, but I don't pay attention. I have a Super Bowl ring, and I pull it out if somebody asks me to see it. But other than that, I forget I have it. I know I got it, but I forget physically the ring. I know I won that game. And it's just weird. I don't hang on to stuff like that. I kind of feel like holding on to the past is kind of keeping me from moving. And one day when I decide I don't want to go forward anymore and I'm done career-wise, then I'll look back and I'll go, okay, well, maybe I was pretty good.
So people look at you and they think, oh, it must come easy for him. He must not have a problem in social situations. All that's on the football field. Oh, he's just a big tough guy. So yeah, of course it's easy for him. And the thing that I love about I don't think that you can be on camera and not create a persona, right? Because you're gonna have to project something. So you're asking yourself, what am I gonna project? But I love that you have clearly made the demand that the thing you project has to actually be you.
But everyone thinks it's easy. Everyone thinks you're not scared. And I tell you, everyone thinks you haven't had failures, which I've had plenty of failures. But I don't look at failure. I've never looked at a failure and said, woe is me. Oh no, I'm just programmed to say, it didn't work. Okay, let's go. Next thing, work harder. Figure something else out. Yes. Keep going. I'm not programmed to go, it didn't work out, and let me contemplate and feel sorry for myself. And and go over here and get sympathy. I don't know if it's the way I was brought up or if it's from the business of football where it's a win or lose. It's like success or failure. And if you lose a football game, I don't have time to think about how I lost it and what I did wrong, because if I'm doing that, the guy I'm playing next week is getting ahead of me. So I got to worry about what's coming up next and push for what's next and get better for what's next. Not get better for what's in the, not worry about what I wasn't good enough for in the past.
Right.
And I've done sitcom fail, business stuff fail, but you figure it out. Life is about figuring it out. Life is not going to be perfect, and if you expect it to be perfect, you're fooling yourself. And a perfect life without a challenge is not a perfect life, it's a boring life. Boring. And I don't know, man, you talk about all the accomplishments and stuff, but for me, I really haven't done any much. I feel like I'm just started.
I love that.
And
tell me if this is true. The reason that you feel like that is because you're always looking forward, you're not looking back, and you're always putting yourself in a situation where you're a little bit sucky. And your goal is to rapidly stop sucking at that. But by the time you're good at that, you're already looking at the next thing that you're a little bit sucky at, and the cycle repeats, right? But that's how you escalate.
I don't look at something and think it's unattainable. I look and I go, okay, I gotta work a little harder if that's something I want or something I want to do. And JCPenney was a perfect example. The collection, which is suits and ties and everything you need to look sharp, like, and when I'm on GMA, everything I wear there. Fox NFL Sunday, everything I wear is that. Everything the guys on Fox NFL Sunday wear is
really
my line, yeah.
Wow.
And Troy Aikman and Tony Gonzalez, so it's really something. But the reason it's authentic to me, and I'm involved, so I'm just not a passive, yeah, those fabrics, you guys do it, put a suit out there, stamp my name in it, and it's good. Oh, I look at every swatch of fabric, I look at every dress shirt, every tie, belts, shoes, socks. It's exhausting,
yeah,
but it's necessary because I know people who work really hard with me on that, and I want them to know that I'm as engaged as they are. And from the marketing of it to who we're gonna pick the model in ads, the direction of that. But for us, we were so happy because it was a start. It was a start, and I think we started maybe 200 stores just to get a little feeler. I look back now and I think, wow, it's only been like a year. But we've been successful enough that we were 500, and then now we're going to 600, a year ahead of schedule. And then we kicked off MSX, which was like, fleeces and casual and like athleisure wear. So we kicked off a whole nother line with them. Athleisure? It has just completely evolved into this thing that is like, hey, why not? Why can't we? It's authentic to me. I don't do it, not wear it. I don't do it and you don't see me in it. I'm in it every day. So I'd rather be authentic, and everything that I do and everything that we do as a company, we do that is authentic to whoever we are putting into positions, including myself, that people can stand behind it because they know that's really you, and that's important.
There's two things you said there that I think are incredibly, incredibly important for entrepreneurs to understand, and that's one, that you get, one of the defining characteristics of being an entrepreneur is dealing with the mundane. That's what we have to do. Why am I looking at this watch of fabric? That's what you have to do. It's like you have the vision, you believe in it enough, you're gonna see it through all the way to the end. The other thing was that he mentioned that's so powerful for an entrepreneur, and it's authenticity. Everybody wants to be famous, nobody wants to put the work in. And I was like, oh my God, Kevin Hart totally understands it. So I was blown away. And I was like, that guy's gonna last. And then you mentioned him in your book about being a guy who puts the work in. And I thought, that's so true.
There are two guys in entertainment who I know put the work in, and I respect them so much. It's Kevin and Dwayne Johnson, The Rock.
Yes.
Because I watch these two and I study these two and their approach to everything that they do. And it's always joyful. It's always, they have so much energy and so much conviction about what they're doing and a belief.
Yeah.
And I'm feeding off of them, even though I'm in a totally different business, because it keeps me going to the point of where they'll say, man, you work too hard. Man. I'm like, what are you talking about? You guys are working. So I think we all kind of feed off of each other to push each other, even though we're all in like different spaces sometimes, to be successful unbeknownst to the other sometimes. And I think that is, you got to have role models. You have to have people that you look up to that make you push yourself and make you want to be better. And when it comes to business and you talking about painting on this set and doing all these things, if you do something and your name is on it, your name's right there. If it's not successful, who's gonna get blamed for it? Right? You. If it is successful, who's gonna get credit for it? You. And I found that if I'm going to get blamed for something, because it's happened before, that I didn't really put everything into it, I'm pissed that I'm being blamed for something failing because I didn't put all the work into it.
Right.
But yet, for me, if I'm getting all the credit for being successful, and I know I didn't put anything into it, I feel like a fraud.
Right.
And you gotta put up with that for yourself. And maybe some people are comfortable with that. I'm just not comfortable with that. So that's why all the businesses I like to be a part of, because I don't want to feel like a fraud. I want to, if someone asks me about it, I want to talk to you about it, I'm real. I don't have to make up some story and then go home and go, oh, boy, I sure had to lie about that. That's not a good feeling. So if you're going to get blamed for failure, accept it. Hey, I put everything I had into it. It failed. Move on to the next. But I know I busted my ass. And if you're getting credit and everybody getting credit for success, you can feel good because you truly have been a part of that too. And that's something that keeps me involved in everything. And like I said, The Rock and Kevin are like bust your ass workers, man. I appreciate that. You know, the biggest thing for me, to be honest with you, is it's like my kids, making them proud, letting them understand about hard work, respect, for not that would give me respect, but how to respect people, and just to be nice people. And that's really my main focus, is to make sure that when I'm gone, more people are happy that I was here, and that they don't show up at the funeral to make sure I'm really dead. That's it.